Hey everyone, welcome to week 4 of Art of Adulting. Now this is a week where I'm really hoping that you guys are enjoying your time with each other, feeling comfortable with each other, and really have all of the foundation pieces laid so that you could get honest and vulnerable with each other. Today's conversation, the conversation that you're going to have together, is really about our response and our application of what we've been talking about. The goal of this is not more information. The goal of this, what is my response? And what is my application going to be to the wisdom that we've talked about? And in this week, we talked a lot about preferences, didn't we? Our bottom line was this: pre-decide to live with your preferences, not for your preferences. We talked a lot about the relationship between our preferences and our purpose. And as we're talking about preferences, I imagine some of you are thinking, Rick, I'd never prefer to wear that color. I'm trying something new. Give me a break. Now, as you're leaning in and you're talking about this, we're specifically talking about our preferences at church versus our purpose. And our purpose is this: we exist to lead people to be fully devoted followers of Jesus. That's why our church exists. That's why our church has always existed. That may not be the exact words used to describe it, but that's why Autumn Ridge Church has always existed. That's why before it was Autumn Ridge, when it was First Baptist, that's why it existed. And this is the agenda that Jesus has given us. As we read through 2 Corinthians chapter 5, to join him in his agenda means to carry the message of reconciliation so more and more people know him the way we know him, so that more and more people come to faith in Christ and grow in Christ and become fully devoted, joy-filled followers of him. And this is just something that adults recognize, that our preferences, probably 99% of our preferences, are good. There's nothing wrong with them. That sometimes good preferences contradict our good purpose. Sometimes a preference we have, and there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever, sometimes our preferences stop serving our purpose and the outcome that we're going for. What do we do then? Adults are willing to get down and dirty in the wrestling match and talk about, this is my preference, this is my purpose. I'm pre-deciding to do all the internal stuff that I got to do to make sure I get that relationship right. And I pre-decide I'm going to take my preference and I'm going to put it underneath my purpose. Not take my preference and put it on top of my purpose. Not take my agenda and put it over Jesus' agenda. I'm going to take my agenda and I'm going to joyfully and gratefully subordinate it to Jesus' agenda. And this is not driven by an adherence to rules. It takes discipline, but it's not really driven by discipline. It's driven by love. This is how Jesus loved us. At Philippians, we're told that he gave up his rights and he gave up his privileges to serve our needs, to rescue us from sin, to atone for us, to set us free. And when we see him, we behold him, we fall in love with him, we give him our allegiance, and we want to live in alignment with him because what he gives is far better than what we could come up with on our own. Now, if there is a provocative moment, if there is an emotion-laden moment, if there's a moment of tension in this conversation, it's going to be when your group leader asks you this: what's your reaction to this statement? We'll do anything short of sin to reach people with the gospel. Now, processing that might take time. It might take more time than you have in your group right now. That's okay. Take all the time that you need. Really lean into it. Now, your group leader is probably going to ask you these questions, and it's because I've asked them to ask this question. Is it possible to say no to that statement? We'll do anything short of sin to reach people with the gospel. Is it possible to say no to that without taking our preferences and putting it above our purpose? Is it possible to say no to that statement without taking our agenda and placing it above Jesus' agenda? I want you to lean in. I want you to be vulnerable. Let's wrestle through this together, and let's be people who joyfully, gratefully, wholeheartedly respond to the call and the invitation of wisdom. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.